So, in a nutshell, I'm very proud of all that work. And in response to the first question, how I personally remember the 81st legislative session, I'll honestly remember it with pride. But the other question, that maybe is even more important, is what legacy the 81st session will leave to Texas. And I think that's less clear. And I think the answer really depends upon your time frame. What time frame are you going to evaluate from? In the short term, it's hard not to judge the session in terms of the current economic recession. And there is no question Texas is still better off than every other state in the country when it comes to our economy. And no major legislation passed during the session to challenge or change that fact. The question really is what explains the good fortune? Well, it's the business line, no doubt. And you know, as you think about it, you hear some people carry on about Texas' tax structure, regulatory framework, court proceedings, and corporate incentives. It's easy to think that there's nothing more for state government to do, that there's nothing more to defend under the dome besides the status quo. But my friends, folks, let me just tell you, there's a great risk to defining pro-business simply as what's good for a quarter, a year, or more importantly, an election cycle. There's a great risk by defining being pro-business without considering the future needs of business. Because the truth is that Texas's prosperity didn't just appear in the last 15 or 10 or 3 years. Prosperity rose up from the very schools that our founders demanded for us, the highways and railroads our grandfathers laid for us, and the universities they made great for us. We're prosperous because Texas is a place where we can weather the summers thanks to affordable electric bills. Because this was a place where we could sleep easily, knowing that despite every natural force with the potential to destroy our homes, we could afford to insure it. Because this was a place where we could navigate through our communities and across the state without having traffic as a constant obstacle. And because this was a place where we had everything we needed to keep our kids healthy and make sure they were learning. Folks, it's in these broader areas that decide how our friends, neighbors, and employees live, learn, and work that don't show up in a stock index or a local report, that I believe is part of the definition of the business climate. And in these areas, over the long term, I'd be a lot less concerned if a lot more people